It's the championship of the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. DeAndre Burnett, the high-scoring transfer guard from Miami, and the Ole Miss Rebels look to spoil the brilliant start from the high-flying Blue Jays of Justin Patton and Maurice Watson. The championship of the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. It's Creighton and Ole Miss. The road to the Final Four begins in paradise as we welcome you to the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. A Final Four the Blue Jays squarely have their sights on. Unbeaten in the young season, and nobody took a bigger jump in today's AP Top 25 than the Blue Jays. Up 10 spots from 22 to number 12. 2 100-point games here in St. Thomas. They'll get Ole Miss. Can the Rebels run with the Blue Jays? We welcome you inside. Thanks for joining us. Darren Goldwater and Kevin Lehman. This one should be a lot of fun, but that is the big question. Can the Rebels run with the Blue Jays?
Andy Kennedy told me they're going to run. This is going to be a track meet in paradise.
It's not just the guards, though. The big men need to be getting up and down the floor, take part in this track meet. Saiz needs to have a game.
They've got a good one in Sebastian Saiz. He's a double-double machine. Mid-range jumper, can score over that right shoulder, develop a three-point shot. Andy Kennedy has asked him to be a double-double machine, but they're going up against Maurice Watson Jr. This young guy grew up wanting to play in the Big East, even had the code to the Villanova locker room, but everyone said, you're too small. He goes to Boston University. Fast forward, he transfers to Creighton, leads the nation in assists, has also got his team number 12 in the nation. Maurice Watson Jr. He'll be fun to watch.
He leads the nation in assists, but nobody scored more in an individual game than Burnett and Ole Miss. For more, the third member of our crew, Monica Jonigan.
That's right, guys. I mean, Burnett's going to need every bit of that production that he had in the first tournament opener against Oral Roberts. He dropped 41 points. That was not only a tournament high, but that was also a career high, which included a career high 9 3-pointers. He's got to do all of that production as well as feed the guy on the inside if these Rebels have a prayer running away from these Blue Jays tonight.
Monica, Burnett sagged off a little bit in the semifinals. Ole Miss was still able to win despite it. He told Kevin Lehman he was a bit under the weather. Can Burnett bounce back, lead the Rebels to an upset of the Blue Jays in the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam?
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by the U.S. Virgin Islands is not just a vacation. It's Virgin Islands nice. Learn more and visit usvi.com. By NBA 2K17. Available now. Rated everyone. And by Inada, Japanese maker of full-body massage chairs. Begin your extraordinary Inada journey with a visit to inadausa.com.
Creighton is feeling pretty good about itself, and rightfully so. 3 wins over Power 5 conference teams, scoring 96 points a game. Their starting lineup is the same as it has been for their first 4 games. Marcanvis Hyman will start for the second straight game for Ole Miss, but Cole Huff, as he was yesterday, just might be the key for Creighton today.
And Cole Huff excels in neutral court tournaments. He's averaging over 18 points a game in this tournament. He could be the key because of his ability to pick and pop and spread that defense.
4th career double-double yesterday. He had 20 and 10. He shows off the depth of the Blue Jays, who come into this game with 7 players in the first 2 games of this tournament, averaging in double figures as a team 100.7 or 107.5 points a game in this tournament, which is more than the tournament record for an individual game. And as has been the case for the Creighton games down here in St. Thomas, a great crowd. Biggest traveling party for any team in the 17-year history of the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. More than 300 faithful made the trip from Omaha.
It's a sea of Blue Jay blue in the stands, in the hotel, throughout St. Thomas.
Some NC State fans have hung around. That red is mixing with the Rebel red. as Ole Miss looks for its biggest non-conference victory ever. Never beaten a team ranked this high out of conference. And if they can pull off the upset here today, it'll give them the championship of the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam.
Now look for Ole Miss to go in early to Saiz inside to try to establish the inside game, because you've got DeAndre Burnett on the outside. 41 points in the opener. Paradise Jam record for Burnett.
NC State tried to run with Creighton yesterday. They had some success in the first half. Then they got worn down. Their depth was a problem, and Creighton ran away from them in the second half. Ole Miss isn't particularly deep, but as Kevin just told you, Andy Kennedy wants to try and run with the Blue Jays.
And Rashad Brooks is on Maurice Watson. They're putting Link on number 10.
Foster is the last one to touch that. Here's Andy Kennedy, who's now 20th all-time in SEC coaching wins. He's averaged 21 wins a year in 10 years. This team had 3 21-win seasons in 96 years before he took over.
Well, he is the best kept secret in the SEC. Andy Kennedy has continued to produce, and huge excitement for Rebel basketball.
Angles his way out of bounds to find the cutter, and Hyman's got the first 2. Watson bumped down to the floor. Same man who started the scoring also picks up the first foul. Greg McDermott has averaged almost 24 wins a year in his 6 years leading the Blue Jays. Already knocked off another thing off his resume he had never accomplished, never beaten an ACC team until he hammered NC State yesterday.
And a huge win over Wisconsin before they made the trip down here to Paradise.
Saiz seals off Justin Patton, one of the best freshmen in the country. Ole Miss is averaging almost 90 points a game. They lead the SEC there. Burnett's been a big part of it, and so has Saiz when he's been able to put up big games.
And their ability to get to the free throw line and score points with the clock stopped.
Rasheed Brooks, a little bit of a ball fake, then a 3. Great start for the Rebels.
I said Brooks is locked on to number 10, Maurice Watson, with length.
That length didn't bother Watson there. Falling away, the 5'10 senior hits it.
Boy, is he fun to watch. Guts of a cat burglar. He's going to attack anybody that guards him.
Here's DeAndre Burnett now, 41 in the opener. Yesterday sagged off a little bit and became a little bit more passive. Saiz picked up the slack. Here's Cullen Neal.
Well, Neal's had a good tournament shooting the 3-ball, but that was not what they needed.
Saiz got a piece of that one. It still goes home for Kyrie Thomas, who had a big run through the NIT last year. It was huge for the sophomore's development.
Well, Kyrie Thomas is their slasher. In the open court, impossible to stop the young man from Benson High School right out of Omaha.
Creighton starts a couple of guys from Omaha. Not something that usually happens. Him and Patton both started the opening game for Greg McDermott. Something that hasn't happened in 16 years for Creighton. Here's what they've done. 3 power conference teams they have blown out, pulled away from Wisconsin late.
Well, Big Ten, Pac-12, and now they've got an SEC school and a victory over an ACC school yesterday in North Carolina State. Adding to the resume.
Now Brooks sliding over to his left. Long rebound to Watson. It triggers the run out. Bounces one down there to Patton. It was deflected out by Saiz.
Now Ole Miss doing an excellent job of getting back in transition, getting the ball stopped. But the game changes when the Jays go to their bench. Their bench has been able to build leads, and then the starters can come back in with fresh legs.
That's what makes Creighton so tough this year. They have 3 players coming off their bench with starting experience and a sophomore who's got 5 early points here in Thomas.
Thomas shooting 58% from beyond the arc. Tough cover.
But he commits the foul. back on the other end. Get a look at Kevin Lehman's keys here. It's about tempo.
Well, Andy Kennedy says he wants to run, but he's got to know when to run and when to control tempo. And they got the 1-2 punch. It's got to go inside to Saiz, back out to Burnett. They have a great combination there. For the Jays, bench strength. It's always about bench strength. And team speed. They have speed at two most important positions. That point guard position and the big man inside, Justin Patton.
Cole Huff baited Hyman into taking that shot. They wanted him to take it. He makes him pay. Hard hedge for Saiz. Hyman then goes flying by Huff. Patton's got the finish on the lob from Huff.
Well, they love that play where they just lob up around the rim, and the 7-footer, just a freshman, Justin Patton out of Omaha North, making a statement early.
He replaces Jeffrey Grossell, much different player than Grossell was.
Well, Justin Patton is like a young colt, thoroughbred. He can run.
Blocks that one off the glass, but Saiz, it comes right down to him.
This could be a good matchup. Saiz with 7'4" wingspan. Can challenge shots.
Now here's Huff, the stretch 4, who excels outside the arc. And the foul is against Cullen Neal. Both teams have hit 4 of their first 7 shots. Both teams have 9 early points here in the championship of the U.S. Virgin Islands, Paradise Jam. Family affair out here in St. Thomas. Man in the button-down shirt, Nels Hawkinson, runs Basketball Travelers and puts on this tournament. His son, Josh, was once a ball boy for this tournament, has evolved into one of the best big men in the country at Washington State, and he was given a ball to commemorate his 1,000th point, which he picked up here in this tournament. He also got a pretty nifty towel with an airbrush of himself, autographed by a lot of people on this island who watched him grow up. He's part of family here on St. Thomas.
Outstanding young man, and one of the best rebounding big men in the country.
He was a finalist for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award last year. That goes to the best big man.
A little zone out of the Rebels.
Speaking of the Abdul-Jabbar Award, this freshman is on the watch list in Patton. He is heading to the line for a couple of shots.
There's a huge upside for number 23, Justin Patton, and there's a number of NBA scouts in the stands tonight watching this young man. 7 foot, 230. He was a beanpole last year when they redshirted Justin Patton. Got some pounds on him, and he can run from inline to inline. Usain Bolt.
One thing he should work on a little bit, the free throw percentage. Only 19 years old. He went from a relative unknown as a junior in high school. 2 years later, he's one of the top freshmen in the country.
And coached by a former player of mine, Jared Anderson at Omaha North. Helped develop the big man's skills.
Ole Miss has gone to its bench early. Firminovic with the take and the finish for Eustace Firminovic.
Andy Kennedy likes bringing Firminovic off the bench because he gives them a spark. Excellent offensive rebounder, but and we saw some skills taking it right to the hoop.
It started the first 3 games, now off the bench, but it's tough to defend Watson, who shows off that little fadeaway again.
Well, Watson can dance with the ball, can score on the bigs.
Davis also in off the bench. Foster lost his balance, and Davis with the circular move spins it through.
Well, Terrence Davis has given the Rebels some big moments in this tournament.
Trying Eustace Firminovic now, trying to check Huff. He'll foul him, and it'll be the Nevada transfer heading to the line now.
Watch Davis, baseline. Excellent body control, eye on the prize. Gets one off the glass.
Talk to the coaches and they'll tell you Cole Huff is still working his way back a little bit from off-season knee surgery. Also battled some shoulder problems last year. He has shown no ill effects of either injury in this tournament.
Well, for some reason, when he gets on a neutral court, he elevates his game. And now you can see the Jays already going to their bench as they have 3 in: Zierden, Hansen, and Hegner.
Burnett down to his knees, and it's taken away by one of those guys off the bench, Hansen.
And Zierden, a starter last year. Some real pop off the bench.
Saiz cleans up the Watson miss. Here's DeAndre Burnett. Zierden sagged off.
Well, Burnett's got to get hot again for the Revs.
Hansen rolls one off. It doesn't happen often. He had hit 16 of his first 18 shots. That's actually correct. You could look it up. It's hard to believe.
And one of those misses, those 2 misses, part of that was a block shot. Zach Hansen, Pierre, South Dakota, the big man. He doesn't miss those point blankers.
Andy Kennedy got a break on one end, but then they give it back on the other. Made a habit of.
You've got to adjust to this Creighton bench because you've got the high-flying Justin Patton, then you come in with the physical Zach Hansen in the post.
Hansen set the screen, slashes down, he's blocked by Davis.
Well, Terrence Davis is going to be an X-factor in this game.
There he goes again. This is where he's at his best, when he can attack. Saiz with the offensive rebound.
You're watching one of the best rebounders in the country, Sebastian Saiz.
Burnett looks like he's having trouble with his footing. He's slipped a couple of times here. This time it leads to an offensive foul.
And he's talking with the official right now about that the floor may be a little damp. Now we see the tall boys out there. He's going to take a seat. He did not like that call. And I talked to him in the lobby yesterday. He said, hey, 41-point performance. A little bit off your game yesterday. And I just woke up, wasn't feeling well. And I spoke to Andy Kennedy. He said, these guys come down here. You're in the sun, the humid weather, you're around the hotel. You got to learn how to take care of your bodies. It's a learning experience for Coach Kennedy's team.
But Kennedy has gone deep down his bench early. Schillinch just defending that turnaround.
Well, he knows he has to match the numbers that Creighton is going to use in this game.
Partner, you just said a moment ago that Terrence Davis could be an X-factor today. He's been aggressive now 3 times. The former wide receiver who had big-time offers chose basketball instead, has a trip to the line.
And this is the first year he's really just focused on becoming a basketball player. And a huge game against Oral Roberts. Second half, it gave him the start, responded.
Just 19 years old.
He's got a little bit of that irrational confidence that you like to see in players, and he can score on anybody.
Confidence is confidence, whether rational or not, right?
Well, sometimes you take it places where you shouldn't when you have the irrational confidence syndrome.
Lead's already changed hands 6 times. We're not even 8 minutes in. Clement handling the point now with Watson on the bench. Finds Hegner over there. The stretch 4 makes a living outside the arc.
Huff goes out, and they replace him with a bigger stretch 4 in Toby Hegner. The Jays have already used 9 players.
Now Hegner on this end smacks one out of bounds. Rebels ball when we get you back to the University of the Virgin Islands. So you're watching Holiday Hoops, presented by Citizen Watch. Looking for something to do on St. Thomas at night? Take a little nighttime cruise on a little paddleboard out there. Join us Friday afternoon for college football action when Northern Illinois takes on Kent State at 12 Eastern. Followed by star running back Jeremy McNichols and the 20th ranked Boise State Broncos battling the Falcons of Air Force at 3:30, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
Now, Andy Kinney said he was going to run with the Jays, but he's done an excellent job of controlling tempo. They're picking their spots. 17-15, this is a lower pace than the Jays are used to.
And because the Jays aren't converting on some close to the basket, Ole Miss is controlling the tempo, and Brooks has hit another big shot.
But when you can score the basket, it's easier to control the tempo because now you can set up your press and make them take it out of the net. Ole Miss, little three-quarter court pressure, slow down the Jays, and now back to their zone.
Dangerous to play his own against this Creighton team. Davis has his hands on it. Schillinch takes it away.
Well, it's been successful for the Rebels early in this game. They'll see if the Jays can solve the zone problem, but you got to be able to hit the jump shot to set your zone up.
Hansen battling for it out to the perimeter. It comes to the walk-on Clement.
Well, Clement has been outstanding in spelling Maurice Watson Jr.
Brooks took it away from Hegner, wins it at midcourt. Neal was begging for it, set up for that three, which doesn't go down, but it's Davis on the offensive glass. So Brooks will try again from this side. How about the start for Brooks? He's got 9 early points for the Rebels. Partner said it yesterday, you need a Robin for the Batman. Maybe it is Rashid Brooks tonight. Senior out of Kalamazoo, Michigan with 3 triples here early on. .41 to go in the half. Part of that timeout for Greg McDermott due to the 6-0 run for Ole Miss. Another part to get Justin Patton back into the game. He was sitting at the table for a couple of possessions.
And Marcus Foster has been quiet in this game. On the bench now. Again, the three-quarter court pressure is going to slow down the tempo.
Saiz and Firmanovicius were out high in that zone. It vacated the baseline, but Saiz comes back to collapse on the board.
And Huff with an off-balance shot.
Out of that timeout, Andy Kennedy brings DeAndre Burnett back in off of his bench. Thomas working hard just to keep the ball out of his hands.
That was a dangerous pass. A little too much helium under that pass.
Firmanovicius runs through Huff without a call, then scores around Patton.
Firmanovicius is fearless, and he's at the point of this press. Great lateral movement, long arms.
Rare turnover for Watson, caused by the length of Firmanovicius up top.
He is the energy guy for the Rebels. Little spin move. Gets it up on the backboard before the shot blocker Patton arrives.
Kevin, we've been down here all week. We've seen Ole Miss play now 3 times. We haven't seen Firmanovicius play with this confidence or energy yet.
Well, he came off the bench and got some rebounds from him. He started the first game and then sat the second game, but came back and rebounded the ball for Ole Miss.
Brooks got Foster in the air, then he gets the hometown roll here in St. Thomas.
Well, Brooks has a little bit of that irrational confidence right now. Everything's going in the hole.
10 unanswered for Ole Miss. Watson with another tough one, fortunate off Patton's hands.
Marcus Foster has to get involved in the Creighton offense.
He's trying. Ran over Neal, popped to the top of the key, his first points of the night.
Big time score for the Jays. 3-point shot, post up. But you can see the Rebels now. They're controlling tempo.
Oh, there's your irrational confidence. One of those, don't you dare take that shot. It doesn't even touch the rim.
Brooks, feel the groove.
Brooks closes out on Foster. talks to him a little bit on the way back.
Now Foster says, whatever you can do, I can do better.
One of the keys to this start here for Ole Miss, the way they've been able to control this game, they have kept the Creighton crowd somewhat under control.
Well, excellent point, because they've made shots.
They'll discuss it, and it will stay on this end of the floor. Joe Lindsay had it.
Oh, Rasheed Brooks. Everything's going in now, and then the answer at the other end. Marcus Foster, the transfer from Kansas State. 3-ball, corner pocket.
Just before the under-8 timeout, Ole Miss comes with Bree and Tyree, trying to buy him a couple of possessions here. Maybe they're only going to get one possession out of it. Saiz travels with it. What a game here in the championship of our U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. It's a 5-point lead for Ole Miss. We've seen 8 different lead changes and 4 ties here. Rasheed Brooks has keyed this early charge.
The senior out of Kalamazoo. He's averaging 11 a game. He's already got 14. We're just 12 minutes in. It's the kind roll, and then a dagger from the top of the key for number 14. Keep your eye on Brooks. Can he keep this going?
He'll stay on the bench for a bit of an extended breather here. Bree and Tyree remains on the floor in his place. So the freshman guard's out there as the senior gets a breather.
And Burnett has not scored. DeAndre Burnett has not scored for the Rebels, and they have a 5-point lead.
Bree and Tyree closing out on Cole Huff, who continues his hot tournament.
Boy, Huff, 6'9", steps in the gap. Tough to get to him.
Here is Tyree. Trying to maneuver his way around Watson, takes him to the goal. Patton swats it off the floor.
Patton, not my house. As he turned the corner, he just sized that one up. It's a volleyball spike.
3 seconds on the shot clock here, and Thomas bails out Ole Miss, commits the foul about 25, 30 feet out.
Well, the Rebels have not let, as you look there on the screen, Washington State 60 points at half for the Jays, 54. They're not going to reset in this game.
Defense sagged in around Saiz. Tyree had one go halfway down.
Well, Ole Miss, they have not let Creighton play downhill.
Tyree will be whistled for it, cutting off the progress of Marcus Foster.
And Darren, think about this. Practice on Saturday, Andy Kennedy did not practice his team. He wanted fresh legs. Every other team went and had an hour-and-a-half practice. I was there watching. I waited for them to show up. They did not come. I asked Coach, he said, no. Kept them in, a little walk through the lobby, a little film session, fresh legs.
Saturday was the off day. These teams played Friday, earned Saturday off, played yesterday and now today. Firmanovich is right there with Huff to contest the 3.
Well, Mark Godfrey, NC State, told us he felt Huff was the key to this Jay offense, and Ole Miss may think the same. They're covering him like a blanket.
Burnett, there it is. First 3 of the day for Burnett, his 13th in 3 games here.
Well, his release is so quick. It's just rise and release.
Foster finds Patton. Firmanovich says not here.
Where has number 50 been this tournament? Firmanovich, unbelievable at both ends.
Burnett getting greedy there on the baseline. Firmanovich with another board. Burnett converts on the 3 after missing the 2.
Green is good.
Watson hesitated, then finds the baseline. Foster trying to get around Saiz. Splitting through from Anavichis and Saiz, it'll be Sebastian Saiz.
That's why Foster's game is so dangerous. He has that three-point shot, big shoulders. From Anavichis gets him a second chance opportunity. And DeAndre Burnett takes full advantage of it.
So here's Foster, who started his career at Kansas State. Shouldn't surprise you with his body type, and you'll see the explosion. Yes, he can hit the three, but he can rise, show the power. Tries to pattern his game after Russell Westbrook.
Well, he had a great career at K-State, 14 points a game, 138 threes in 2 years for the Wildcats.
Burnett, Zierden gave him just a little bit of room. On the offensive glass, Saiz will earn himself a trip to the line. Working hard on the inside.
Well, you're seeing a young man, Sebastian Saiz. 11 career double-doubles. Right now, the leading rebounder in the SEC.
His goggles are back up. He was messing around up and down in yesterday's game when he was at the free throw line. He had more success with them up. He wears them because of a detached retina he suffered last year, forced him to miss 7 games.
He went 1 for 2 with the goggles on twice from the free throw line yesterday. Now he's elected to put him back up with more success.
Hegner had Hansen, he couldn't get it in there.
Oh, Hansen had his man sealed.
Now Zierden a little bit short. Hegner doesn't have the tip, but Hansen collects the loose ball. Saiz turns him away. Hansen's gonna try again, but he didn't have the angle. He was pinned underneath.
Well, Saiz is very deceptive. He's 6'9", but we mentioned his 7'4" wingspan.
No call. Officials letting him play here. Burnett rolls it off, and for Anavichis with another offensive board. Why not? Burnett rips it away from Hansen, now underneath.
Well, the Jays are going to have to get a body on Anavichis. He is creating second chance opportunities for the Rebels.
For the first time in this tournament, and one of the few times this year, you're seeing a Creighton team that's not playing with as much confidence and poise as they had.
Well, they can't get the tempo going. Andy Kennedy said, we're going to run, but he's picking his spots on a made basket. They're walking this thing up, setting their offense, making the Jays play some D.
Burnett turns down the screen, drains the three.
When he gets in the groove, Burnett, #1, watch out.
Hansen, the trailer, Saiz turns that one away. We knew the bigs would be important.
Well, Saiz has protected the rim time and time again for Ole Miss.
Rebels said they wanted to run. They've done anything but. Anavichis shorts the three. Foster's pull-up three. You wanted him to get going. He's keeping Creighton close right now.
They've locked up Maurice Watson because they can't get the ball off the rim, and they have not gotten live ball steals.
There's the call the Blue Jays wanted 2 possessions ago. This one's going against Cullen Neal. Rasheed Brooks got it started for Ole Miss. Marcus Foster coming back here for the Creighton Blue Jays, who trail it by 8. The Ole Miss fans are outnumbered but they've had plenty more to cheer about here in this first half. Underdog Rebels have the lead. Stick around at the half of the 2016 U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam on CBS Sports Network. Our John Roth team recently sat down with Villanova coach Jay Wright. We'll bring you the story on AT&T at the half.
Rasheed Brooks got the Rebels going, and then it was DeAndre Burnett who kept it going. 14 for Brooks, 11 for Burnett. Burnett, 11 quick points. And when you look at the stat sheet here, you got 11 offensive rebounds for Ole Miss. And it's led to 15 second chance points.
The other thing the strong half of the Rebels is doing, Creighton can't go as deep down its bench. Their starters are playing bigger minutes here in this first half.
An excellent point, they are. We've seen the second five come in for the Jays and play long minutes, but Greg McDermott has tightened up the rotation.
Davis, Foster was caught looking the other way at the Saiz screen. You're gonna count that one for Terrence Davis.
Excellent ball move. They call that playing the second and third side of the court. Reverse it back and forth, and then the gap opens up, and the explosive move. Terrence Davis. Clubhouse roll. Ball goes in.
Very balanced effort here for Ole Miss. A lot of different players are contributing.
Again, as they score, they can set their defense, slow down this Jays offense.
Largest lead of the night right now for Ole Miss. Late help came on Pat. Zierden was left alone.
Well, Zierden misfired his first three ball, but he was perfect last night, going 4 for 4 from deep. Young man had 31 starts last year for the Jays.
Now Davis over Foster.
Bad shot for the Reds.
They're able to get back. Brooks was able to check Huff, force him to pull up down there at the block. Watson eventually wins it. Foster reverses it through.
Well, they've taken the penetration. The Rebs have taken the penetration away from Maurice Watson, but they're getting it from Marcus Foster.
First time the Blue Jay fans really got into it. Andy Kennedy takes the time out to suck some of that energy out of here. 1:27 to play in the half.
Who's ready to tailgate? Yeah! You know, they say the pregame is almost as important as the game. I gotta agree. You guys have your football practice. That's for you. But this is how we get ready. Tailgating! Woo! Do you have a pregame ritual? Like something wacky you do? Like
You should just scream in the mirror. I'm hungry.
I'm on it.
Larry Culpepper, this is for you.
Oh.
In your face.
Ice cold Dr. Pepper here.
That's it. That's it.
Greg McDermott knew when he was able to get Marcus Foster in here, he would add an element to this team that he needed. He's been huge for him tonight.
Well, it was a slow start, but Foster already with 15 points in the column. And he's done it a variety of ways. He got it going with that three ball from the top of the key. And now the Rebs have had to attack.
And how about this? Ole Miss has been in control for the majority of this half. It's the first time Creighton has been pushed this hard in a single game, despite the fact that they've played a great schedule. Even when they had Wisconsin at their place, that was going back and forth. They pulled away late.
Had the run late in the second half against the Badgers that opened it up. But you know what happens sometimes, man? You put that ranking number 12 on your back, becomes a huge bullseye, an opportunity for Ole Miss to make a statement.
You read my mind. Brooks with the angle. You can go the other way with it as well. Greg McDermott has already said, he said it yesterday, look, rankings don't matter until March. But the players, 18, 19, 22 years old, they see it.
You just read my mind on that thought.
That's what happens when you spend a week together here at St. Thomas. Davis almost dragged that back foot. Then he lost it off the ground. Huff wins it off the floor. Blue Jays aren't one to necessarily hold for the last shot. Now they may, having to reset their offense.
Well, that was one of the few times they got a live ball turnover, but Ole Miss still got back at Watson stop, the defense set. Now the shot clock almost identical to the game clock at 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, they tried to push it up and get the easy two. Marcus Foster has paced them here with 15 points in the half. The only player for the Blue Jays in double figures.
Looks for Huff in the corner.
Or Watson down the lane. Saiz pulls it off the rim. Watson picks the pocket at the buzzer. Can't get it to fall. It's not the balance of the Blue Jays, which has been on display for 4 games this year. The difference is the balance of the Rebels. Coach Kennedy is standing by with Monica.
Coach, your team came out fearless in this first half. What kind of statement are you making, especially with that zone defense being so effective?
We're just trying to change our looks. They've got a tremendous team, especially offensively. I was in the gym last night when they scored 112. They made it look routine. So our mindset coming in is you better play crazy fast or you're going to get embarrassed. I thought our guys took the right approach. Offensively, we're making some mistakes, which are allowing them to get in the open floor. Hopefully we can clean that up in the second half.
Do you think you're going to be able to contain and run with this team throughout the game in the second half?
You know, it's kind of what we do. You know, this is game 5 of a long season for us. We're trying to create an identity. We're not so concerned about Creighton. Excellent team. We're trying to do what we do.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Guys, you heard him.
He's made that statement to us time and time again. Create an identity, create some synergy.
Halftime at the 2016 U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. It's the Rebels with the lead. Stick around for AT&T at the half next on CBS Sports Network. Rebels with a 6-point lead at the half. We came into the day talking about the depth of Creighton. 7 different players averaging in double figures, but it's the Ole Miss depth that was on display in the first 20.
Well, big-time games, big-time players step up in big-time moments. And Rashad Brooks has done that for the Rebels. A dagger from the top, then the kind roll off the 10. Nothing but nylon for number 14 as he kisses one off the window. Brooks with 16 points. And for the Jays, slow start by Foster, but he heated up with 17 points. Takes it down Main Street, gets his own tip in. Then the pull. The drive and the kiss. Foster with 17 for the Jays.
You take out Foster 6 out of 10 from the floor, and the Jays are just 8 out of 24. Ole Miss controlling the glass, big part of that first half.
Look at the second chance points. 17 for Ole Miss to just 4 for Creighton.
Earlier, Monica had Greg McDermott.
Well, guys, you mentioned second chance points. I talked to Coach McDermott coming out of the half. The stat that stuck out to me was the same that stuck out to him. Ole Miss is killing them on the boards. They said that was one thing he stressed to his team during the halftime. They've got to get far more aggressive on the boards and make sure they get every opportunity because Ole Miss is certainly not giving them any, guys.
For Manavicius, who was such a key in the first half off the bench, he'll start this second half with a nifty move on the baseline.
Oh, that was wicked.
Watson turns it over for the second time. He has 2 turnovers and just 1 assist.
Now, Maurice Watson came into this game leading the nation in assists. He just got 1 today with a couple turnovers. We said he has the keys to the Blue Jay bus.
Marcus Foster stuck right with Burnett, but the kind bounce down to Saiz. Another offensive board.
Another second chance opportunity for Ole Miss and to make the Jays play some defense.
Thomas is going to clear that one out.
5 blue jerseys back, defense set. The Jays have got very little in transition.
As well as Ole Miss is hitting the offensive glass, does it stop Creighton's transition because they got to focus on the defensive glass?
But when you talk to Coach McDermott, he mentions that they've been so good defensively rebounding Creighton because most people send 5 back. The Rebs are not. They're sending 3 to the glass.
Not the start to the second half Greg McDermott was looking for. He's already given up an offensive rebound. Now Foster is pinned in the corner. You're watching Holiday Hoops presented by Citizen Watch. Blue Jays are left with 2 timeouts now and 4 seconds on the shot clock for this possession. Firminovic guards the inbound. It's Burnett who takes it away. Out up front to Neal. He avoids Foster for the 2.
Well, set play by the Jays. Turned into easy points for the Rebs.
Watson, though, slices through, missed it at the rim, and Ole Miss is the one who knocks it across the baseline. The fact that Ole Miss is doubling up Creighton in bench points is stunning. Their bench is averaging 42 points a game in their first 2 games in this tournament.
And it's starting on the offensive glass. 13 offensive rebounds for Ole Miss.
Even their tailor-made lob to Patton doesn't work with Firminovic in the game. All the hustle stats. Firminovic is there. He's at the top of that press in the defense.
You have the link of Sebastian Saiz, rim protector.
Double team comes from Huff. Ball reverses around here to Neal.
The Jays have put Kyrie Thomas on Rasheed Brooks, trying to slow him down.
Neal forced to take that deep one late in the shot clock. One of the better defensive possessions for the Blue Jays.
But still, Blue jerseys back, nothing easy.
Huff hedged off Firminovic and drills the 3 in his face.
Oh, and Eustace just shakes his head because Huff just a jab step to create some space. Kyrie Thomas just locked onto Brooks.
Firminovic just drives in on Huff. We're going to get a foul here on Huff. He wanted the continuation in the goaltend. That's not coming.
Well, the fact that Kyrie Thomas is locked chest to chest onto Brooks allows that drive. But look at this little step back move. Drop the ball, get the defender to drop his hands. 6'9". Huff is so adept at creating space.
That matches his career high with 7 points here.
But his points have not been the difference in this game. It's been his activity on the offensive glass, his wingspan defensively. Number 5-0 in blue, watch him.
A lot of things that aren't necessarily showing up in the box score too, like right there, keeping the ball out of Huff's hands. Patton, the 7-footer with the agility and the foot speed there.
Well, he has been quiet for that opening dunk. That was a sweet move by the 7-footer.
Saiz gave Burnett a little bit of room. It's going against Creighton, holding Saiz out of the lane.
Patton, now watch this move. Now this is a 7-footer who redshirted last year. This is his first year of basketball. Look at the footwork and the adept finish.
Foster couldn't bring that one in, so the Rebels have a fresh 30. There aren't many big men in college basketball that are going to stop that move from Patton.
Well, plus he has a motor, and he can go north and south as well as any big man in the country.
Watson late closing out. Neal hits the deck after the 3. Thomas stripped by Brooks. Will stay on this end.
And that's what Creighton wants, tempo. They want to get the ball floor, let Thomas, the slasher, attack. But the alley closed quickly.
Creighton has had the lead for less than 4 minutes in this game. It's been controlled by Ole Miss. Saiz was close to 10 rebounds in the first half. He's got 12 now. Careless turnover, here's a 3-on-2. Watson camped out there. Here come the Blue Jay fans. They've been waiting for something to get them going.
And Andy Kennedy standing over that is what he does not want to happen. The live ball turnovers to give Creighton numbers going downhill.
Huff comes on the double team to Saiz. Davis with the step and the feed, but Saiz couldn't handle it.
Saiz may have gotten away with a walk.
And this is what you're talking about when you say the Rebels kind of play out of control. They get a 2 out of it.
Brooks, junkyard dog.
Here's Foster now. Same spot Watson just hit.
Both teams heating up.
Shows the tempo.
And we'll see when Greg McDermott is comfortable to go with his bench again.
Here's Neal. Watson sagged in on the help, and again, Neal burns him.
Well, Watson took the gamble.
Patton able to bring it in and save it back to Thomas. Watson just hasn't been able to create. Patton travels with it. He came in leading the country in assists. You called him a water bug end to end, but he hasn't been able to, and it's limited the effectiveness of Patton. This is not a look that we have seen for the Creighton Blue Jays fans in 3 days down here in St. Thomas. A little bit of concern. Tomorrow night, CBS Sports Network brings you another tournament coming to you live from Mexico with the Cancun Challenge. First at 6 Eastern, Auburn takes on Texas Tech, and at 8:30, Utah State is out to play spoiler against Matt Painter's 17th ranked Purdue Boilermakers, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
Good matchups there. Tech with a new coach. Up against another SEC team in Auburn.
More turnovers for Watson tonight than he has assists.
Rare for the young number 10. Been bottled up. It's difficult to run when the ball is going through the net. Ole Miss, their strategy is not to send 5 back or 4.5 back in defensive transition. They're sending people to the basket, and that is slowing down Creighton's ability to get out on the break. They have to stay and block out and battle on the glass. Very effective strategy by Andy Kennedy.
First time we've seen that strategy employed. Everybody else has been so concerned about the pace they run them back. Creighton can expect to see a little bit more of this down the way.
Well, it's led to 14 offensive rebounds by the Rebels. Second chance opportunities building up huge for Ole Miss.
Foster, Davis did a great job to stay with him, and it didn't matter. Foster's out to 23 now.
That is wicked. Step back, hand in your face. Foster drills it.
Now Brooks over Hansen, just floats it through.
Well, these two players have been sensational. Brooks and Foster.
Brooks then got a hand on that one.
Watson has not got into the interior of the Ole Miss defense this entire game. Got in there once and missed the layup.
And his favorite lob to Patton, that hasn't worked out for him either.
Got one early, then it's been shut down.
Pushes a pass out to Thomas. That'll be an assist for Watson. And Creighton's fought their way back to within 4.
Well, here they come, and then you've got Hansen ready to come in off the bench, along with Zierden, the three-point shooter.
Neal bumps into Patton. They're going to get a foul here on the big man, Patton. That's just his second.
Little pin down. Thomas, just enough room from Patton sealing in the defense. Okay, here comes the bench of the Jays. Let's see what they can do. Down 4.
Zierden fell down, incidental contact with Hyman. It led to that ball movement, and eventually the miss. Here comes Foster. There's Watson into the middle. He's blocked by Davis.
Davis just measured him up.
Burnett pulls the way to the rim. He'll lay it through.
Now you can see Hyman trying to deny the pass to Watson. They're getting the ball out of his hands with this 3/4 court pressure.
Wide open, Hegner connects.
Outstanding ball movement by the Jays. One of the problems with 3/4 court pressure is you've got to get back and circle the wagons and find people. The Rebels couldn't get back to the weak side to find it.
What a catch on the inside to save it for Hyman. And he's going to earn himself a trip to the line. But Kevin, the 3 ball right now for Creighton has cut 11 down to 3.
Well, they're shooting it quick again against that 3/4 court pressure. Hegner back on that weak side, just toeing the line, waiting for it to come back to him.
Here's Hyman now, who celebrated his 19th birthday on this trip down here to St. Thomas. Andy Kennedy called him the Rebels version of KG. By that he meant he can get balls that aren't necessarily in his area code. He can find a way to get to anything on the floor.
They led the Rebels in blocked shots and field goal percentage last season. Energy player off the bench for Ole Miss. Ole Miss is active in the zone.
Foul will go against Schillinch. That's a credit to Foster, isn't it? He was pinned dead to rights there in the corner.
Well, what we underestimate about the Revs is their length. Well, this trapping zone that we're seeing is effective because of the great length and lateral speed of this Rebel defense.
Here's Hegner now from the other corner. He's got him within 1.
Well, we said the bench is coming in. Here comes the posse for the Blue Jays. Zierden, Hansen, and Hegner.
Brooks gets the timeout. A little bit of jawing going on there between Brooks and Watson. Tempers flaring, shots raining in. 1-point game. Alongside Kevin Lehman, longtime coach of Darren Goldwater. Kevin, we've both been heaping praise on Andy Kennedy, one of the best coaches who doesn't get the credit. Creighton's been crushing people this year. Andy Kennedy has come up with a game plan that's caught him off guard.
Well, he sent to the offensive glass, which is making Creighton stay back and block out. And then his zone has been very effective. The 3/4 court pressure has gotten the ball out of Watson's hands, and it's had other people become playmakers.
For Kennedy, this trip was about figuring out who this team was. He already knows they can play in tight games. Their first 3 were all tight. Burnett bumps off Hegner. Nicely drawn up play out of the timeout.
And Andy Kennedy talked about he has to reinvent his team every year because he's bringing in transfers. This year it was Burnett and Cullen Neal. So they're still trying to get some identity and synergy in this trip.
That was the first time Hegner was well outside the arc. And now Ole Miss will walk it up the floor.
What Ole Miss is doing, except for a couple minutes, they're keeping the crowd out of this game.
And that'll help. Another one from Burnett. If he starts getting going, he can be that volume scorer.
Oh, he's a volume shooter. His arm will wear out before his legs did.
Foster, Watson growing together in their first year playing together. Good cut right there from Foster. Three-point lead right now for Ole Miss. 10:20 to go in the game.
And this is the deepest we've seen Andy Kennedy go to his bench. He's trusting Shilinch and others.
And Fitzpatrick Dorsey, who doesn't have the range there. Hansen has the position in there on Shilinch. 1 point game.
Again, playing the second side. The ball was reversed. Hansen gets his socks in the box and pins his man. Just waits for the ball to come back.
Who touched it last? Burnett did. Foster made the play. Burnett touched it last right in front of Kennedy. We're not yet at the point where we can go to the monitor to check this one out. I think it's tough to tell from that angle.
Quick hands by Foster. We're on the other side of the court. If we could make the call. Andy Kennedy had a bird's eye view.
Trying to go back down inside. Hansen lost the dribble, and Brooks is able to keep it in as Hansen stays down, clutching his left ankle underneath the basket.
He's playing 5-on-4.
And still get a turnover out of it. Hansen tries to just hobble out of the way. Here comes the whistle.
That's a situation where the official cannot stop the play if the offense of the opposing team has an advantage. They had to wait for Creighton to get possession. Take a look at that left ankle just gave out on that spin move by Hansen.
That's why he lost the ball. One of the most experienced players on this Blue Jays team. And the obvious concern there here in game number 5 with one of your seniors down is Greg McDermott is right there over him. One of the major reasons why Creighton's bench is considered one of its strengths.
Well, Zach Hansen has been so efficient, shooting close to 90%. A great compliment to Justin Patton's speed game. There's Greg McDermott comforting his senior out of Pierre, South Dakota. Teammates coming off the bench going to help the big man Zach Hansen up.
That was the last trip down the floor when he went into Shilinch.
You see it, the ability to upper body on that play. Excellent at finding, feeling, and finishing his man. But they're taking Zach Hansen back to the locker room. That brings Justin Patton back into the game.
And it really sucks a lot of the energy out of this Creighton fan base here, and for good reason. It's an early season tournament. Their hopes are high. 12th ranked team in the country, big dreams, and that's a big piece that was just held back to the locker room. This is going to go against Saiz. He had a big part of the jersey of Justin Patton.
We said Saiz was a double-double machine. He certainly is, with 26 and 12 already in this game. He's really controlled the middle defensively.
How about Foster saving that one out to Hegner, and Creighton has come back from 11 down for their first lead since 12 minutes in the first half.
And the Jays crowd is now going to get into this game.
A block underneath.
And Watson clearly in the restricted zone. And that drive by Burnett.
Nine second half points from Toby Hegner. Showing again the depth of that bench, the experience off the bench.
Zerton with a huge three. As he came in. Huff and Hegner both play that stretch four position. But because of the zone defense, it's eliminated that pick and pop move that the Jays like to use so much with their point guard and their stretch four.
Another tight game for the Rebels.
Now we see man-to-man back here by the Rebs. They have been here for the last few trips.
Saiz doubled out high. That left Patton alone underneath.
Big man finishing with his offhand.
Thomas got a piece of that one from Anavichis, as he's been all day long. Right spot, right time. Never hit the rim, though.
Anavichis has a nose with a pigskin.
Davis from Anavichis, and Foster clobbered there by Davis. And with 7:37 to go, it's the Blue Jays who have clawed their way back, drilling 8 out of 10 from distance here in the second half. No team in the country made a bigger leap up the AP poll than the Creighton Blue Jays, up from 22 to 12. It's because of their depth. Now time for this week's high-energy performance of the game, brought to you by Citizen Watch, and it's their depth from Hegner off the bench.
Hegner has been outstanding out of the corners. 3-ball corner pocket. Then he decides to go to the wing. Rises up, ripples the net. Hegner with 12 off the bench for the Jays. Berlin, Wisconsin. Toby Hegner making the Badger State proud.
Both coaches, in fact all 8 that were in this tournament, had the same philosophy coming down here. This was about growing, figuring out where you are. You get the sense with 7.5 left in this championship game that it's not as much about that right now as it is coming away with this victory that'll propel you forward.
Well, both teams put their gloves on for this one.
Patton has to bring that one back down. Didn't even think about finishing. Then he throws it away. Davis, Watson, down to the floor. It's won by the Rebels. Ole Miss hasn't hit a shot in more than 3.5 minutes. And now it's Hegner that's limping a little bit.
Pointing out a wet spot on the floor.
was moving okay until the contact there. Then he went back to the spot on the floor.
Yeah, but the wet spot wasn't anywhere near the rebound. Or maybe he slipped coming down the court.
Here comes that extended zone out to half court that Ole Miss hasn't employed a whole lot this half.
Well, the length of Hyman at the point is causing problems.
Another mistake there from Watson that you haven't seen much this week or in his career. But Ole Miss gives it right back.
Terrence Davis throws it to no one in particular. But look at the height now. You've got Hyman at the point of this press. Big wingspan, active, quick feet. Just overshadowing Watson.
Tries it again. This time Patton's there for the flush.
Now Watson baited him, found the gap. A little hip alley-oop.
It's the largest lead for the Blue Jays tonight. 4 points.
Watch this play now. And Patton knows what his partner's going to do as he rises and punches one through.
Rasheed Brooks. Such a key in the first half. First basket in 4.5 minutes here in the second for the Rebels. DeAndre Burnett wants the ball in his hands. You can sense it.
And Brooks had a huge first half. He's been quiet that last one he splashed through.
Speaking of splash, Neal does it and ties the game. In one motion, Thomas collects, drives, then lost it. So here's Hegner from the top. Extra pass down from Foster. Thomas had to think about it. The hesitation may have caused the miss. We got a foul on the Rebels.
Well, Kyrie Thomas was surprised how open he was. Then I think Thomas also looked down to see where the three-point line was, and it got him out of rhythm.
Martin Crumpel, redshirt freshman from Slovenia, makes his first appearance here.
Well, Watson becoming more of a factor here in the second half.
Crumpel turns it over first time he touches it. This has been the story of the Rebels season. Beat UT Martin by 3. Came back to beat UMass 11 unanswered down the stretch. Needed overtime in their first round game here. Andy Kennedy said he's been in this business too long to age a little bit with those close games. Had a breather yesterday, but we're right back in the same spot here.
But you're making a great point. They've been in the close games. Creighton, other than the Wisconsin game, have not been challenged. And that builds your confidence that you can finish in the last minute. That's where it looks like this game is going to.
Here's a deep one from Cullen Neal. Is it against Patton? Four fouls now on Patton. And remember, Hansen had to be helped to the bench and into the locker room.
Crumpel got 2 possessions. Both resulted in turnovers, and he was right back out of the game. So now you've got Cole Huff into the game. It's going to move Toby Hagner down to that 5 spot. So we've got the stretch 5 and the stretch 4 for the Jays.
What you can't see with the chair or the bench in the way of Hansen's leg, that left ankle is heavily wrapped in ice.
I'm glad it was an ankle and not a knee.
Rebels miss a chance on the front end of the 1-and-1. We're inside 4.5 to go.
Different look in the zone. Went from the 1-through-1 back to the 2-3. They'll run somebody in the high post. There's Thomas.
Active hands from the Miami transfer, Burnett. Watson doesn't even try.
It was an odd misfire by Watson. Wasn't even close.
Hasn't been in rhythm all night. Hasn't been his usual self, taking care of the basketball.
He's got 4 assists, 4 turnovers. His defense and the length at the point of the defense has bothered at least Watson.
Burnett has it stripped. Here's where Watson's at his best. Leading the run out. A late pass down to Thomas. It's an and one try for Kyrie Thomas. The Omaha native on the dish from the senior out of Philly. Chance for a 3-point lead when we get you back for the home stretch. Thanksgiving night, CBS Sports Network is in Botswana as coverage of the 2016 World's Strongest Man gets underway. Witness incredible feats of strength from the stunning African countryside Thursday at 8 Eastern, right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. For more on Hanson, let's check in with Monica.
Hey guys, I talked with the SID and the trainer. Hanson sitting there all ace bandaged up with ice on his leg. He is definitely not coming back into this game. They said they didn't want to say much about his condition. They're going to wait till they get back home to reevaluate him. In the huddle though, Coach McDermott could not be more different than Andy Kennedy in his huddle. He is so calm. He's telling his guys, look, we got to execute, we got to calm down, we got to play our game. As opposed to Andy Kennedy in Coach Kennedy's huddle, coaches are jumping up and down, they're slamming clipboards, and you know, they're generally fired up. Coach McDermott, very cool, very calm, encouraging his team to be the same. Guys, back to you.
Kevin, you've been in the coaching circles, you know them well, but that's the personalities of both of those.
Well, Greg McDermott has an experienced team that understands where they're at. And Andy Kennedy, he wants his team to play like their hair's on fire. They're emotion. It's an emotion team.
Saiz has to dribble out of there. The double team came.
Now the Jays have been red hot from the three-point line.
That's what got him back in it here in the second half. Hegner got a piece of that one from Hyman.
But it's been countered by giving up 17 offensive rebounds to the Rebels. He gave up 16 to the Badgers and still won the game.
Foster cradles it, then he lost it down to the floor. They don't have numbers. Brooks will pull up for 3. That's a quick shot, and it goes over to the Blue Jays.
But you know, I'm watching Andy Kennedy just shrug his shoulders. That's the way we play. Gives his players confidence to catch and fire.
Hegner thought he was coming out of the game when Patton came in, but he's staying in. It's Cole Huff who'll get a break.
And back with the three-quarter court pressure, Andy Kennedy keeps changing up the defenses, keeping the Jays out of any flow.
With Firminovic back into the game. Patton in with 4 fouls and another flush. Largest lead of the night for the Blue Jays. Another 1-and-1 here for Ole Miss.
Now here's Watson. He's going to take it right into the teeth of the beast. And you got Patton walking on air. The finish.
Creighton hit 8 out of their first 10 threes here in this half. And those second chance points, which allowed Ole Miss to balloon their lead up in the first half to 11, they've been held to 3 in the second half, and those were in the very early stages of this half. Brooks looks back at his teammates, says nothing free as he checks Watson at the top of the key.
You can see Watson's confidence has come back.
Got a block underneath.
Brooks got there late. The freshman Justin Patton helping him up.
And it's 6th foul on the Rebels here.
Well, they've been their zone's been effective with length. They have not fouled. They've kept Creighton off the free throw line, although they have given up a number of free balls, but that's what Creighton does. The Jays want to shoot the three.
Third best three-point shooting team in the country at the early stage of the year.
Well, they're at 15 to 25 tonight. And there's number 16.
Courtesy of Kyrie Thomas, it's his third.
Huge possession for the Rebs.
Burnett goes into Hegner. Patton knocks it off the floor from behind.
Now we've got 14 on the shot clock. Ole Miss likes to get Burnett a shot off of these OB plays. We saw it against Oral Roberts, put it into overtime. Pinned down by Saiz.
Instead, they ran Cullen Neal off the screens, but Watson able to close out there. 5 on the shot clock. Hegner, 2 hands into the back of Firminovichus. That'll be the 10th. Couple of shots for Eustace.
And Justin Patton telling Hegner, hey, I was back here at the rim ready to protect.
They've corrected it. It's the 9th. Still a 1-and-1 for Firminovichus. It's a big correction right there.
Now Ole Miss forced to go man. Watson gonna burn some clock. Now look for a high post screen by Patton.
He bluffed it. Watson wanted to get it down there. Watson able to blow by Saiz. 8-point game. 3 possessions now.
Watson, overdrive.
50 seconds to play. Saiz turned away by Patton. Burnett fouled, went into Patton, and if it is on Patton, which it's not, they're going to get Watson on the arm instead.
We've seen that play from Burnett time and time again. It's just a simple pin down screen. He comes out ball side. Head fake, goes baseline, draws the contact. Smart move, now he can score with the clock stopped and look for the Rebs to put some full court pressure on. So you got to get it out of Watson's hands.
This is the guy you want at the line.
Now, Greg McDermott bringing his ball handling team. He brings out Patton, Cole Huff in, along with Wagner, 2 bigs that can handle the rock.
Just the 2nd missed free throw of the year for Burnett. Saiz forced a foul with less than 40 seconds to play. Well, for a team that hasn't been pushed much, except for their home game with 15,000 behind them against Wisconsin, this Creighton team has showed some mettle here. Down 11, cut down on the offensive rebounds for Ole Miss, started burying threes. And really, once Hansen went down with that injury, that was almost another spark for him.
And this is what you look for in these games like this. The different styles of play that Creighton has had to face Andy Kennedy with an excellent game plan to take away their fast break. It's forced the Blue Jays to play a style they haven't had to play in quite some time. Thomas, an excellent free throw shooter.
Largest lead of the night comes with less than 40 seconds to play. Another block there for Patton, and Creighton can sense it. They jumped from 22 up to 12 in the AP poll today. It was the largest jump in the country. They did it with back-to-back 100-point performances, made it look easy down here in St. Thomas.
Well, they came into this game with a target on their back. Ole Miss knew what they were up against, that they could make a name for themselves, make a statement nationally if they could pull the upset. Valiant effort by the Rebels.
And the Rebels, I think, did make a statement. There's one SEC team in the top 25. It happens to be Kentucky. Rebels, who were picked to finish 9th, have acquitted themselves well against one of the better teams in the country. There's Saiz now, and that's going to do it. The Blue Jays are going to come away with another early season tournament victory. They grinded their way there.
You can see Greg McDermott just breathing a huge sigh of relief.
Foster carried him in the first half. Hegner off the bench in the second half. The Blue Jays have won the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. And they did it despite an off night from the guy that makes them go, Maurice Watson.
He came on strong in the second half when they needed him. And typical of the Jays, they shot it well from the three-point line. But Ole Miss, valiant on the offensive glass with second chance opportunities kept in this game. But just too much Blue Jay from the arc over the 40-minute stretch of this contest.
Sixth tournament championship for Creighton under Greg McDermott. This is his 7th year. He's with Monica.
Coach McDermott, let's talk about this team. Ole Miss definitely was not going to give this one to you. You had to fight it out. Talk about what your team was able to do late in this game.
Well, we defended. You know, they only had 31 points the second half, and we rebounded better the second half. And, you know, we stuck together. You know, we got a little chirpy with each other at the first half and even at halftime. And I think we just realized that we're going to have some tough times. We got a target on our back now. We just got to stay together, stay engaged, have that team unity, and and we played pretty hard that second half.
I want to turn it to one of the leaders on the floor. I mean, you guys in the backcourt were able to stay under control. You missed some shots early. They out-rebounded you. Tell me about what this team has done to be able to gel together, to come together and get this win.
You know, we're like a family. You know, we stick together through everything. You know, we haven't played that bad all season. This first half that we played was pretty bad, and then we just stuck together and talked about it, and we figured it out in the second half. That's how we was able to win.
This is the toughest game you guys have played in this tournament, though, so give me a sense of what it means for your team to face some adversity. I mean, you can get easy wins as much as you want, but once you get up the rankings, you're going to face tougher competition.
Right. Ole Miss, they're a good team. I watched them play. They're a very good team, and, you know, being the 12th ranked team in the country, everybody's going to come after you, so that was a good experience for us to have right there.
It was definitely a fantastic game.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. Back to you.
Kevin, you had it. They faced adversity for the first time, and even Greg McDermott, very honest there with Monica. The team chirping at each other, but they came together, and he came to the Islands wanting to learn something about his team, and I think his team found out something about themselves.
Oh, we're still in November. These teams are getting identity. They're growing together. A trip like this for both Ole Miss and Creighton is going to do wonders down the stretch. And this has been a strong tournament field. I've been here 4 years. This is the best that I've seen, and Creighton had to earn this.
We turn it down to the president of Basketball Travelers for the trophy presentation, Nels Hawkinson.
Ladies and gentlemen, The U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam, this year's 2016 winners, goes to Creighton University. Come on down and get your plaque. Come on down, everybody. Come on. Go. Our second place in this year's University of Virgin Islands at the University of Virgin Islands Paradise Jam, Ole Miss. Second place, gentlemen.
Pulled away in the second half, locked down on defense. The 12th ranked team in the country has moved to 5-0 this year, all 5 wins against teams that were previously unbeaten. Look at your all-tournament team now. Josh Hawkinson, the son of Nels Hawkinson, who you just heard from. He paces him. Jackson out of Loyola. The talented freshman guard, Dennis Smith from NC State, and 2 players you just saw battling it out here, DeAndre Burnett and Cole Huff. And Marcus Foster, the deserved MVP, the way he carried this team in the first half.
He certainly did. Foster with a slow start, but then heated up, hit some big shots, matching Rasheed Brooks, who got Ole Miss off to an outstanding start in this contest.
Back-to-back 100-point games for the Creighton Bluejays. Trailed by 11 in the first half. Fought their way back and captured the 2016 U.S. Virgin Island Paradise Jam Championship. Big thanks to Basketball Travelers, another first-class event in the 17th annual U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. Coming up next, the 2016 FIA GT World Cup. For Kevin Lehman, Monica Jonigan, our entire CBS Sports Network crew had a ton of fun working with you this week. I'm Darren Goldwater. In association with Basketball Travelers, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.